Alright, so I wanted to do a quick video discussing my favorite horror franchise, that being Friday the 13th, and why I find the franchise to be so fascinating. Now, a little background, I have always liked Friday the 13th. I'm not sure exactly when I first saw one, but it had to be around when I was, I'd say probably like 8 years old, something like that. You know, you could probably argue that being that young, I probably shouldn't have been watching them, but hey, it happens. Yeah, I thought they were interesting. I really liked the character of Jason Voorhees. He's just always stuck with me as my favorite horror villain, and for me, I think that he is the best horror villain out there. I think he's the most iconic. I think he's the best one. The thing that I find fascinating is sort of the public perception of Friday the 13th and things that it's known for compared to, I guess, how it actually happened. Just for me, it's the fact that like the things that you associate with Friday the 13th now, and especially the character of Jason, just didn't really come along until later. The first and most well-known point being the fact that his mother, Pamela Voorhees, was the original killer in the first Friday the 13th. She wanted revenge on anyone at Camp Crystal Lake for letting her son drown. And, you know, she ends up being killed at the end of the movie. That's definitely one of the most well-known facts about the series, just the fact that Jason's mother is the original killer, obviously even brought up at the start of Scream. Yeah, that one might be a gimme, but still just the fact that killer most directly associated with the series isn't even in the original one, at least in how we think that he is, because obviously you have little swamp boy Jason popping out of the water at the end, but that's pretty much it. Now, in Friday the 13th Part 2, of course, we do get Jason, but he's still different than what we are used to. That's what I like to call sackhead Jason, farmer Jason, just because he's got the sack head and the overalls. Granted, I actually like the sackhead look. Again, just the fact that we don't get the hockey mask look at first. It's a very different look. But having mentioned the hockey mask, that doesn't come along until the third movie, and this is obviously at the start of the Jason that most people know. The large brute with the hockey mask, and you know, at that point, the green work shirt and the pants. Granted, that's not always the look, but they're kind of, I guess you could say, sort of the default Jason look in a way, just because the work shirt and the pants do last for a while for him. And then, at least just from sort of what I see, is a lot of people think of Jason as being an undead monster. You could say a zombie that can't die. And that really doesn't happen until Part 6, Jason Lives, because in Part 4, the final chapter, that's when Jason dies. That's human Jason dying. And he is dead for a long time. So even then, people thinking of Jason being this undead monster, that's not until Part 6. Not to mention the fact that, of course, another thing that the franchise is known for is the fact that Jason kills camp counselors, but that really only happens in Part 2 and Part 6, at least with Jason being the killer. Again, his mother kills almost all of the camp counselors in the original movie. But, you know, 3 and 4, while they do take place at Crystal Lake, it's not the camp, it's just surrounding houses. Part 5, 1 isn't even Jason. 2, it's at a halfway house instead of the camp. 7 is once again at the houses around Crystal Lake. 8 is obviously partially at Crystal Lake in Manhattan. 9, well, 1, I don't like Jason Goes to Hell at all, so screw that movie. But it also is more so the surrounding homes and stuff, and obviously Jason X is in space. Freddy vs. Jason, they're only at Crystal Lake a little bit, no counselors. And then in the remake, again, the surrounding houses. So it is kind of funny that, you know, he's known for taking out the camp counselors, but that really only happens in 2 of them with him as the killer. Yeah, so just the fact that Friday the 13th is generally seen as being about Jason Voorhees, who wears a hockey mask and is an undead, unkillable monster that hunts down camp counselors. Well, all of that doesn't really kind of mush together until later. It's just something that I really find interesting about the series. Again, I know a lot of these things are known. It's just, for me, it's always kind of fascinating. I've had quite a few people that either don't know much about the series or really don't know anything at all and haven't seen the movies, who are always kind of taken aback by the first few, especially the first 2, just because 1, Jason's not the killer in the first one, and 2, he doesn't have the stereotypical Jason look. It's just something that's kind of interesting about my favorite horror series. Hey, what is your favorite horror series? And what do you think about Friday the 13th and its public perception? And what do you think about these points of why I at least find it to be a very interesting series? Of course, these aren't the only reasons why. There's plenty more. Like I have said, I love the series. But the points that I've mentioned are things that I honestly do find fascinating about it. But yeah, let me know down in the comments. As always, if you guys could give this, you know, a like, a thumbs up, that'd be great. If you like what I do, subscribe and turn on the bell. And yeah, thanks you guys for watching. I'll see you all next time.